Could this be the big move the Golden State Warriors have been waiting for? With the rumors swirling around Karl-Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, there's a real chance we might witness a blockbuster trade that shakes up the NBA. The Warriors, a team that's been in need of a significant shakeup, find themselves at a crossroads this season. Despite having the brilliance of Stephen Curry and the grit of Draymond Green, they seem just short of another championship. But what if the key to their next ring lies in a bold trade with the Minnesota Timberwolves? Stay tuned, because this could change everything. The Timberwolves, facing their own set of challenges, might just be ready for a major move. Their financial situation is far from ideal, with their payroll ballooning past the second apron. On top of that, they're falling short in terms of future assets after costly signings like Rob Dillingham. This sets the stage for a potential trade that could benefit both franchises. Could Karl-Anthony Towns, one of the most skilled big men in the league, be the piece the Warriors need to climb back to the top? This trade scenario isn't just exciting, it could reshape the future of both teams. Before we dive deeper into the details, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you're a diehard Warriors fan. Let's keep this community strong as we explore what could be the most pivotal trade of the season. Now, let's get back to the action. In a recent discussion on the Locked On Warriors podcast, Ben Beacon pointed out that while the Timberwolves are reluctant to part ways with Karl-Anthony Towns, his Supermax contract could force their hand. With a projected luxury tax bill exceeding $100 million, the Wolves have little room to maneuver. Trading Towns might be their only way to relieve financial pressure, especially if they can't make a deep playoff run. For the Warriors, landing a player of Towns' caliber would be monumental. He's an all-star center who could drastically elevate their offensive game and provide much-needed size in the paint. But here's where things get really interesting. The Warriors, despite lacking a superstar trade asset, still have some enticing pieces. Rookie sensation Brandon Podziemski has shown flashes of brilliance, and Jonathan Kuminga, with his athleticism and defensive potential, could be just what the Timberwolves need to bolster their frontcourt. And then there's the big question: could Andrew Wiggins, a former Timberwolf, find himself back in Minnesota? Wiggins' versatility and two-way play could be the perfect complement to Anthony Edwards, making this deal even more intriguing. Let's not forget, the Timberwolves are desperate for picks after their aggressive moves for Rudy Gobert and Rob Dillingham. The Warriors, with their draft capital, could help fill that gap. But the real challenge here? Matching Karl-Anthony Towns' massive salary. It's no easy task, and it could require the involvement of a third team to make the financials work. This is where things get complicated, but if the pieces fall into place, we could be looking at a trade that benefits both sides. Ben Beacon raised an interesting point: there's probably multiple teams involved. This kind of trade isn't straightforward, especially when you're dealing with a contract like Towns. If a third team comes into play, it could open up even more possibilities, both for the Warriors and the Timberwolves. It's this unpredictability that makes trade season so thrilling. The idea of a multi-team deal adds layers of intrigue, and it's something that could completely alter the dynamics of the league. Even if the Warriors can't land Towns, there's still a chance they could go after a player like Naz Reid. While Reid doesn't have the star power of Towns, he's still a solid option who could provide valuable minutes off the bench. However, let's be real, he's not the kind of player you build your offense around. The Warriors need something bigger, someone who can truly shift the balance of power in the Western Conference. That's why the focus remains on Towns, and possibly, Andrew Wiggins' involvement in this deal. The Timberwolves are at a critical juncture, and so are the Warriors. Both teams have major decisions to make, and time is ticking. The trade deadline is still a ways off, but the groundwork for a deal is often laid months in advance. Could this be the beginning of something huge? Warriors fans have been waiting for a move like this, and while there are no guarantees, the potential is there. The NBA is full of surprises, and this trade could be one of the biggest we've seen in years. So, what do you think? Are the Warriors on the verge of pulling off a trade that will put them back in title contention? Or are the Timberwolves holding all the cards? It's an exciting time to be an NBA fan, and the possibilities are endless. If you're as hyped as we are, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and let us know in the comments what you think the Warriors' next move should be. Stay tuned to Warriors Nation TV for all the latest updates. Let's go, Dub Nation. The Golden State Warriors have made a decision that has many fans scratching their heads. Just days after signing Donta Scott, they've waived the promising forward, leaving us all wondering, what's next? Scott, a player with an impressive 5-year run at Maryland, had the potential to bring something fresh to this Warriors squad. But in the ever-evolving world of professional basketball, nothing is guaranteed. Why would the Warriors let go of someone with such potential? Stick around, because we're about to dive deep into this decision. Let's talk about Donta Scott's journey for a moment. This is a guy who wasn't just a solid college player, he was a standout. Over 5 years with the Maryland Terrapins, Scott averaged 11.2 points, 4.7 rebounds, and 1.1 assists in his final season. He also shot a respectable 40.7% from the field and 33.5% from beyond the arc. Yet, despite these numbers, he went undrafted in 2024. It's a familiar story for so many players, but when the Golden State Warriors came calling, offering him an Exhibit 10 deal, it felt like the start of something special. And now, it's over. What went wrong? Before we dive deeper, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that like button. We're always bringing you the latest Warriors news, and this season promises to be full of twists and turns. By subscribing, you won't miss a beat. Now, back to Scott and the curious case of his short-lived stint with the Dubs. Scott's Exhibit 10 deal was always a bit of a gamble. For those who don't know, an Exhibit 10 contract gives a player a chance to prove themselves in the G League, with the potential to move up to the NBA roster. The Santa Cruz Warriors, the G League affiliate for Golden State, seemed like the perfect place for Scott to hone his skills. If he played well, the Warriors could have easily converted his deal into a two-way or even a 10-day contract. It's a path many players take, but Scott's journey has been cut short before it really began. Was it the right call? Let's not forget what Scott accomplished at Maryland. Over 162 games, he averaged 10.4 points, 5.3 rebounds, and 1.3 assists, shooting 42.6% from the field and 33.3% from three-point range. These aren't numbers to scoff at. In fact, he was named an All-Big Ten honorable mention last season and became one of only 5 players in Maryland history to rack up over 1,500 career points and 800 rebounds. So why, after such a decorated college career, has he been waived by the Warriors so quickly? The Warriors are clearly focused on the future. They're coming off a season where they finished 10th in the Western Conference, with a 46-36 record. The play-in tournament loss to the Sacramento Kings still stings, and the team knows it needs to shake things up if they want to contend again. But does waiving a promising player like Scott align with that vision? Is there more to this decision than meets the eye? Scott wasn't the only player signed on an Exhibit 10 deal recently. Javan Johnson, another undrafted talent, was also brought into the fold. Both players were seen as potential diamonds in the rough, guys who could develop into solid contributors with the right coaching and time. But as we've seen, the Warriors aren't afraid to make tough calls, and Scott's departure could mean they're prioritizing other prospects. Still, it's hard not to feel like this is a missed opportunity. For Scott, the journey isn't over yet. His path will likely lead him to the Santa Cruz Warriors, where he'll have the chance to prove himself in the G League. If he can shine there, who knows? A call up to the NBA could be in his future, whether it's with the Warriors or another team. His talent is undeniable, and sometimes, it's just about being in the right place at the right time. Santa Cruz could be that place for him. What's next for the Golden State Warriors? This team is known for its ability to scout and develop talent, and while Scott's release may seem puzzling, it's clear they have a plan. The roster is in flux, and with training camp just around the corner, the Warriors are likely evaluating every possible angle to get back to championship contention. Donta Scott may not be part of that journey, but the team's relentless pursuit of success continues. So, as Warriors fans, what do we take from this? Change is constant in the NBA. One day you're in, the next day you're out. But with every decision, there's hope. The Warriors are betting on a roster that can bring them back to the top, and as fans, all we can do is trust the process and stay tuned for what's next. If you're as passionate about the Dubs as we are, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and let us know in the comments, do you think waiving Scott was the right move? Thanks for watching, and until next time, go Warriors!